Hi, good afternoon, everybody. This is for groups therapy and dynamics. I'm going to be speaking about our discussion question number 9 um, for our lesson for this week. The first question that was asked is, what are some characteristics of a group during the final stage? It is my belief that there are a couple of characteristics that are present during the final stages, and is backed by Yowlam from 2005, page 389. He talks about the maladaptive mode, such as an increase in absence and latenesses. Many times you may see that the person or the client may not come in as consistently as they used to, or they may come in late. They might find excuses. So this is something that we'll definitely see more in the final stages of a group therapy session. Uh, I also believe that looking at verbal and nonverbal cues, we can see the characteristics in the final stages. Verbal, you can hear in their tone. They have a deflated tone. They don't want to speak as much. They don't want to impart as much. They don't want to give of themselves as much. Those are a lot of the verbal and nonverbal cues that I believe are present during the final stages of a group therapy session. On to the second part of the first question, which is, what do you see as your major leadership task and functions at this time? I believe that my major leadership tasks would be to help people during this transition. Transitions are hard, and ending a group can be hard as well. Many times people are so familiar with people leaving from them that it can be traumatic for some people. Some people don't know how to deal with endings very well. And I believe that one of my major roles is to help people to end well. Especially when it comes to relationships with other people. I believe that tells so much more about a person, what they can take by seeing how they end. And with that, I believe that we can be the support that's needed for them in those moments, especially as they come close to the termination point and stage. I think another part would be if there are issues that have occurred in the group, and if we see that there's no resolve for them, I think one of the things that would be a role for me would be to refer them to another group, because I would not want a person to bring up something knowing that it can be discussed and looked into further and it not be done. I believe that that would be a great disservice for a person. And so, with that, I would refer them to another group. I wouldn't make them feel shamed or anything like that, but I will refer them to another group because I believe that it would be in the power of that group to be able to help the individual on their road towards wholeness. So I believe that those are the two major things that me as a leader would be responsible for as the group is coming to a close. The second question about discussion is, what are some ways you would prepare the members for termination in a group with a predetermined ending time? And Yalen talks about how brief group therapy does have a predetermined time. And then we also know in some facility settings there are predetermined set times. So with this, I think one of the things that I would want to have set in place is that I would inform the group at the very beginning of the group. I would inform them how many sessions are in the group, how many times we would be meeting, how often, how long. I believe that that should be one of the core things incorporated into the initial session, just so people are aware. You don't want people to be taken aback. You want them to be aware of what's going to go on, and then even for knowledge if you can help it. So I think that that would be one of the spaces in which I would do that. And from there, Yalen talks about reminding the group regularly on page 389 of his book from 2005, The Therapy and Practice of Group Psychotherapy, 5th edition. He states that the group should be reminded regularly. In Corey, it also indicates that around the third or fourth session before the ending is also another good time in which to inform clients that they are they are coming closer toward the end, and I believe that this should be so that people can get their bearings on the termination, so that they can close out on a good note, so that they are aware, they are able to be able to have themselves together, have their bearings together, and that way, I think that will help them to be more. Um, it will give them a positive role as far as closing, because they might have had bad experiences when it comes to closing or terminations. I think it'll just be a good measure in which it'll help people to have that good ending for them in regards to therapy. With that, the next question that is asked is, if you were leading an open group with changing membership, what would you want to attend to when a member is preparing to leave the group? And Corey, 2014, on page 304, talks about preparing the group, to prepare the group when they know that they are going to leave. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with letting people know when you are leaving. It does a disservice when the people are not informed, because you've created bonds with these people. You've created an area of wanting to be with them, of sharing with them, of pouring into them, and then they pouring into you. And I think it's only feasible and it's only right to prepare these people, just so that they can have the closure that they need as well. With that being said, Corey goes on to state that another piece that can be done is to have the person to review what was learned, have them to write out a synopsis, on their last session, to write out a synopsis to say what they've learned from the group, what they've been able